Good afternoon, Business Town Talks on Unity 101 radio station across Southampton. Broadcasting on 101.1 FM and online on unity101.org. This show is also available on most of the digital devices such as Spotify and Apple Podcast. And you can access it from your phone. I'm your host Santosh Kumar, founder and CEO of B2B Growth Hub, focused on empowering entrepreneurship success. In today's program, we will be discussing about motivations and community leadership, along with my guest, Liz Kombate from Rainbow Center. Liz, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for welcoming me today.
How are you, Liz?
I'm well, thank you. It's really nice and hot out, so definitely enjoying the sun.
Yeah. And you live in Southampton?
Yeah, that's correct, I do. Yeah. So it's not too far for me to come today.
How far are you, since how long you are over here in Southampton?
So I moved to Southampton in 2018,
okay.
So 5 years ago now. I'm originally from just outside of Bath, so I moved down to Southampton for university.
Yeah.
And I've stayed in the area.
Okay, so which university was that?
I was at the Uni of Southampton. I studied law there for 3 years.
Wow.
And really liked the area, so decided to stay in Hampshire.
Okay. What is the most beautiful thing you like about Southampton or the surrounding area? Bath is a nice city as well.
Yeah, Bath's really lovely. I think it's nice to go and visit, and I enjoy going back to see family there, but I think Southampton's a lot more vibrant. I think it's a lot more culturally diverse, and there's a lot more opportunities here, particularly for young people.
Yeah.
So I think that's really what drew me to, first of all, come to university here, but then stay in the area as well.
Okay. And law degree, so we'll talk about that law degree, how you come along over there. But you're representing this charity called Rainbow Center. Do you want to tell our listeners a little bit more about the charity?
Yeah, absolutely, with pleasure. So the Rainbow Center is a Fareham-based charity that supports individuals who have a neurological condition. So things like cerebral palsy, Parkinson's, stroke, MS, any acquired brain injury. So we're currently supporting 54 children and 47 adults across the region.
Wow.
So, we're based in Fareham, but people do travel to us from Southampton, Portsmouth, Gosport, and all across Hampshire, really, and beyond.
So this neurological condition, there's no set time, right? How it can happen, how long it will stay. So how do you manage, say more than 100 people now you guys are managing? How do you manage that? How day-to-day support happens?
Really great question. So in terms of sort of the children's services that we provide, the youngest individual that we've supported has been 8 months old. So
oh my God.
Really, really cute little babies that we support. And we help individuals throughout school as well. So it depends on the needs of the person is probably the simplest answer to that question. Everyone has different needs as people. Some are in mainstream education and just need some support sort of on Saturdays or on one day of the week, whereas some individuals will come in more frequently throughout the week. So they have different settings. It's an educational setting, so it's like going to school, but there's a lot more emphasis on supporting the neurological
people come
side.
To the centre then?
That's it, yes. So we're a day centre offering support from Monday to Saturday. Okay.
And how many centres you have got?
So we have just the one centre physically.
Okay.
But we do support people from a bit broader. So, people do have to travel to us, which I think says a lot about the support that they receive, that they're willing to make that journey.
Yeah. Okay, that's great. And you mentioned that, lots of adults also comes and you guys support. What sort of, age group? Is there an age group or any age group can come over there?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, it's any age group really. The sort of oldest participant off the top of my head is in their late 80s. So we can help people throughout life. Predominantly people are in their sort of 60s, 70s and 80s. They've suffered a stroke. They've received a Parkinson's diagnosis. But we do help younger adults as well. So individuals who are in their 20s and 30s. So it's not just for those sort of who are retired and at the sort of later in life as well.
Yeah. So how do you come across Rainbow Center?
Really great question. I think if I'm being completely honest, it was just sort of doing a sort of thing that graduates tend to do is go, oh goodness, I'm graduating, I'm not sure what I want to do. And I just completely honestly did a Google search and was looking on sort of job websites, and I saw that this role was advertised as community fundraiser at the Rainbow Center, and I sort of thought, okay, I read the job description, I thought that sounds lovely, you get to talk to people, you're fundraising for charity. And as soon as I went onto the website and watched one of the videos, I was genuinely almost in tears. It really inspired me, and I thought, that sounds like such a fantastic place to work. And I applied about a year ago and was lucky enough to get the job, and I started it in September and haven't looked back.
Wow, that's good. That's good. Okay, so I would like to let our listeners know, Liz, about who Liz is. Where you have come from, and as you said, Bath is your family, where you come from over here. How was your childhood? How is your family or extended family now? So do you want to start, in your recent memory or the last memory of Bath, how is your early childhood looking like?
Yeah, great
in
question.
Your view?
It really cast my mind back a bit. So I'm from a little village that's sort of just outside of Bath. So I grew up in, very beautiful, very kind of idyllic countryside sort of village life, which is really lovely and definitely, great for your mental health to be able to go for walks in the countryside.
Yeah.
But something that I realised when I went to school was that there was sort of a lack of diversity. And like I mentioned, that's something that I really love about Southampton and sort of larger cities, is that I feel like I fit in a lot more. There's a lot more happening. But otherwise, it's sort of, I've got my mum, my dad, my gran. I've got my sister, who we're really, really close with. She's probably my best friend, although don't tell her that. Siblings, we have to have that
she
boundary.
Must be listening this.
Exactly. Hopefully not. But yeah, no, we get on really, really well.
What's her name?
Her name's Dolly.
Dolly. Wow. Okay, good, nice name.
Yeah, so hopefully Dolly's listening right now, and I've embarrassed her suitably.
No, I'm sure she will be proud of you. And she will try to follow you.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Okay, so then you mentioned about, law firm, doing your law degree. What was the thought behind law degree?
Great question. I think that, as cliche as it sounds, I was someone that grew up always thinking that I wanted to be a lawyer. It's kind of from my earliest memory. It's something that I just think I liked the sound of. Probably because of how in popular culture lawyers are portrayed as, looking very smart and always, winning the cases. And of course, that's not necessarily always the reality. Yeah. But I think that it's something that drew me to kind of the social justice side of things. And I'm definitely very passionate about equality. And I think that's where law sort of fed into that for me. But actually, during my law degree, as much as I really enjoyed the subject and I made some great connections and learnt a lot from it, it put me off of practicing law, which I think is why I've now sort of gone into the charity sector, and I can see myself pursuing that for a lot longer.
Yeah. So do you see any different? Because when we perceive a law person, as you rightly said, very professional, analytical in mind, analyzing lots of things, seriously doing something, not that much people friendly. When you go over there, they will be counting every minute which they are spending with the people. But it's completely contrast to that, what you just said, that, coming to the charity, meeting new people, everyday different people, having lots of fun, lots of love. Is it two different kind of, two different kind of, personalities, what drives you more towards charity,
I think the sort of legal side of my law degree enabled me to have that analytical mind and to be able to advocate for myself and advocate for others, whether that's sort of in a written sense or whether that's through spoken word. And that's, I think, some really good skills that can sort of ground any career. Yeah. But I think for me, it's that passion for social justice. So I then went on to do a master's in race and ethnicity. So something that sort of took me using the skills that I gained from law, but as I say, into that more sort of social justice side of looking at inequalities in society. Yeah. So I think people do tend to think, okay, you're now working in a charity as a fundraiser, but you did law, there's not really that connection. And I think there isn't that immediate connection. But actually, I think how I view it for myself and sort of see those skills crossing over is that sort of element
at least you are getting
justice.
more closer to the social, society, or understanding more of the problems over there. And I'm sure, if you are working in the charity and you have done your law degree, destiny have got something bigger planned for you. We have to see where it takes it, isn't it?
Absolutely. That's it. I'm trying to be very open-minded. I mean, I graduated during the pandemic, so it's quite a difficult time in terms of the job market, and we're still seeing that at the moment. So, I mean, I'm 23, so I'm not expecting to stay in a career forever. I think it's about, making the best of it, doing something that you enjoy, and just taking lots of skills and growing those skills from there. And who knows where I'll end up. We'll see. Yeah.
So in when you studied the law, of course, I'm sure you must have gone through, the whole process of it, and it's very much heavily. You need lots of planning, isn't it? When you are doing any law, you have to go through lots of documentation. You have to follow lots of processes. Do you, all the skills which you have learned over there, do you think that you are getting chance where you are implementing in your community events or community fundraising activities? Is there any relation which you can relate to? Or
Yeah, absolutely. I think those skills have given me a really good grounding for working in the charity sector. I think if there's one thing that I've learned about charities, as fantastic as they are, when you're a small team of individuals, funding is always something that you're trying to fight for. You do end up wearing sort of lots of different hats, so to speak, within an organisation. So I think that being resilient, having that attention to detail, being quite tenacious is something that I've gained from there. And I think law it's very challenging, Yuri. It's also very interesting, but it does give you that attention to detail. And I think that's really important. Also with things like sort of grant funding and applications is really, really important as well. And there's lots of public speaking involved when you're trying to talk to someone about why they should effectively give you money. You need to be able to talk about the charity with clarity. And I think that's something that studying law has enabled me to gain.
So let's talk about that. Why should our listener give you the money?
The $1 million question, really, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I am a fundraiser, so I always have the fundraiser hat on. But I think for me, seeing day in, day out the work that happens at the centre is so inspirational. I mean, the Rainbow Centre is a really, truly powerful place for families, for carers, because it's not only about the sessions that the individual comes in for, which may be a couple of hours a week or a morning a week, but it's also the social network that provides as well. So we really pride ourselves in not just being somewhere where someone goes, they receive their neuro rehabilitation and they leave and that's it. It's about having that check-in. It's about having that personal relationship. All of the staff, you have your people that you can chat with, have some banter with, making a cup of tea with. And after sessions as well, for the adults, there's a built-in half an hour where their carers, their family members can come in and talk to other carers in their situation, which I think is really important and something that sets us apart from perhaps other therapies that the individuals might be accessing. It's that social side of it. So
providing complete 360-degree view of holistic environment where, they feel like they are being cared, they are being listened to, they are, we are providing all support and help.
Absolutely, yeah. It's that wraparound care.
Yeah, that's really great. That's really great. Okay, so what sort of event are you doing at the moment, in the charity? So
summer is definitely a really busy time for us. The weather is hopefully on our side for a little bit longer because we have our Family Fun Day coming up. So
when is that?
Next Saturday. So Saturday the 24th of June. It's from 11 a.m. till 3 p.m. and it's a free event held in Fareham at the Rainbow Centre where people will be able to have lots of fun. There's going to be lots of games, there's going to be face painting, lots of food stalls. So really great opportunity if you've got kids and a family and you want a day out, then it's a free event for you to enjoy.
And can anybody come from anywhere to that event?
Yeah, absolutely. As long as you can find us, then you can get there. There'll be parking available, but also there's a train station and good bus routes as well. So.
Okay. And you said there are lots of foods. So what sort of foods will be available over there for our listeners?
Oh, good question. It's one of my colleagues that's arranging it actually, but I have had a little look at her spreadsheet and it looks like there's going to be a barbecue and hot dog van and that kind of thing. I know we've got an ice cream van as well, which we definitely need on a day like today. So,
and is it happening in the open area or?
Yes, it will be. Yes.
Okay, that's good. I know a couple of food stalls. Do you want me to extend this word to them, or is it too late for them?
Brilliant. We'll definitely talk after this and see if we need any. Sounds good to me.
No, definitely, because in the community, there are lots of people, so we can always extend the word. If nothing else, they can at least visit over there. Is there an entry fees or anything for that?
No, so it's all free to attend. No entry fees. We're really passionate about making sure that we have a range of events. So another event that we have coming up is our Summer Ball, which is on Friday the 14th of July. So that's a sort of a high-end flagship event that we have annually, which is really lovely opportunities to look back and see the work that's happened throughout the year, to get different people who work with us together, whether it's staff, volunteers, whether it's our corporate sponsors, but we do acknowledge that that's an expensive event for some individuals, so it's really important to us to have events at different price points so we can engage all different members of the community.
And for the event which is happening on Saturday, what are there for the kids?
So we're going to have things like bouncy castles, there'll be some rides, we'll have some face painting, think, summer village fete, and we're going to have those events there.
And what sort of age group mostly comes to this event, which is happening on the Saturday?
So this is the first time that we've held it since COVID, but usually it's sort of primary school age, lower secondary school, but it will be an event for all of the family, so there'll be lots of things as well. I mean, if not food and drinks, I'm sure will sway the parents to come too.
So every family who is, having kids who are going to the primary schools, definitely they can be there then in that case.
Definitely. There'll be lots to do to keep the little ones busy, absolutely.
And tell me a bit more about your skydive, event.
Yeah, so we've got lots of, as I mentioned, different ways that we try and fundraise. We try and be as creative as possible. So some people, like myself, I might add, do like the kind of going to a ball and dressing up and eating lots of food. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Some people are a bit more adventurous and like to do crazy things like jump out of planes and run marathons.
Yeah.
So we like to cater to those individuals as well. So we have a skydive coming up in September. So it's September the 24th. So individuals will pay their registration fee, and then they have a minimum donation sort of fundraising of £350.
Yeah.
So it's about going to your colleagues, going to your friends, going to your family, and thinking of creative ways to fundraise that money for yourself.
Yeah.
And then you also get the benefit of being able to tick something off of your bucket list. So if you are someone that loves that kind of adrenaline and that thrill, it's a really great opportunity.
Yeah. Okay. And where is that happening, the skydive?
So that's happening at Old Sarum in Salisbury.
Okay. So this is the first time even you will be involved into that then?
Yes, so for me it's the first time. I will say that I'm not jumping out of a plane. One of my other colleales is, but I will be there supporting on the ground.
That was my next question.
Yeah, I thought as much.
Yeah, because we had a skydive and, we went there with the family. And my mum, she was sitting downstairs and she was praying to the God that, oh my God, they should land safely,
Oh, bless her.
And so for the people who have not seen it, it's kind of course, it's adventurous.
Yeah.
We really loved it. It's fantastic, And when you have that free fall, it's just different experience. So I would encourage all our listeners to, go to the Rainbow Center website, look at the event, and probably just see if you wanted to enjoy that.
Absolutely, great. And maybe you've even convinced me now. It does sound fun. It sounds like something I should do once in my life.
Yeah, I think you should do that. It is happening. You're already supporting, doing the cause, and at the same time, maybe you'll also, give the opportunity for your friends and family to raise something more as well, adding extra value.
Definitely. Oh, you've convinced me now. Have to go home and sign up.
Yeah, so now I should be part of your charity then.
Definitely, yeah. We need you on our team.
Wherever you go for fundraising, I'll come there to convince people.
Absolutely, you're our new volunteer on board.
Great, thank you. So how does volunteering work then?
So we have lots of different volunteers. Effectively, we can be very flexible to what the skills of the individual has. So whether it's someone who's perhaps retired and they have a background in early years education, we have individuals who'll come in at lunchtimes and support with the feeding of the children or the changing of the children, or playing outside with the children. Other individuals who have sort of a retail background or want to help on retail. We've got 3 different charity shops. So there's one in Fareham, there's one in Southampton, and there's one in Portsmouth. So that sort of suits people. We tend to get lots of people who are doing sort of a Duke of Edinburgh award or work experience in that kind of context. So we're definitely looking for younger people as well there. Sometimes people have different skills like gardening or woodwork or whatever it might be, and if someone has the time, we're more than happy to accommodate their skills. We're always really thankful for volunteers. So it's whatever someone can give up time-wise, really. So whether it's on a regular basis helping in the shops for one day a week, or whether it's sort of ad hoc helping at events throughout the summer whenever you can. We appreciate it all.
Great. And I would love to know a little bit more about, from our listeners' point of view, Liz, about your corporate sponsorship or corporate events. Do you want to tell a little bit more about that to our listeners?
Yeah, absolutely. So our corporate sponsorship's a really important part of our fundraising element. So what we do is we'll work with different businesses in the area. If we're their charity of the year, we'll support them with putting on different events. So, for example, yesterday I was at a golf day that a local company held. So they did things like a raffle, they had a charity hole on the golf. Please excuse me, I don't know much about golf, but it was an absolutely fantastic day. So it's a really nice way for businesses to, give back to their community and have that sort of corporate social responsibility and fundraise. But also it's really lovely for the businesses as well to have that networking and have that unity within their organisation. So I think it works on a few different levels. It's not just about the fundraising element, although of course that's really important to us, but it also works really well in the team as well.
And you said that there is some event happening in London as well, isn't it? What is that one you said?
The one in London, I'm not sure if that was that a corporate event that we were talking about, or was that a...
Okay. I think, if suppose there are companies in London, or suppose there is an event in London, how far do you guys go,
I mean, we can travel sort of as far as sort of anyone would like to help us, really, within reason. Okay. So usually we do tend to work within the Wessex region, so sort of Hampshire, West Sussex, Dorset, that kind of triangle. Yeah. But if there are businesses further afield that would like to support us, then of course we're always really grateful for that, and that will be fantastic. Yeah.
I know one of the golf course which is happening where it's a golf championship which they are organizing. That's happening near Hounslow, just outskirts Heathrow Airport, just outskirts of London. So I'll have a look, if they would like to just talk to you guys, and I'll pass their details to you. Just feel free to have a word with them.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you very much.
So all these events which is happening, and I'm coming back to your skills which you have acquired, what sort of planning is required for this? How do you plan these events,
So
throughout the year you plan it, or you plan once in the year start and then, just try to implement it? Like, what sort of planning happens here?
So we like to plan ahead for the year because, as you can imagine, we've got lots of different things going on. So it's really important for us to have that sort of concrete plan, especially for the marketing. So for big events like the ball, we need to know sort of 6 months in advance so we can start the marketing, so we can start the promotion, and we can get people on board. And there's lots of different moving parts with events like that. So some of our events will have hundreds of people. For example, our fun day, we have lots of different things that you need to do. So it's, contacting the councils for the permits. It's ensuring that all of the different vendors can make it and they've got the right insurance, and so lots of different practicalities. And we're only a small team, relatively small, so there's 5 of us at the moment, so we're the biggest we've ever been, which is brilliant. So we have a planning day once a year. That's sort of our big day where we brainstorm all of our events, and then we have monthly check-ins as well as a team, just to make sure we're on track. If we've had any other ideas that spring up, so if we do have other ideas throughout the year, fantastic, but we try and have that sort of nailed down a little bit before we go into the year.
And how important is, you mentioned about marketing, how important is marketing for these charitable activities or events?
Very, very important. I think it's like,
why?
for businesses, for charities alike, I think it's incredibly important. There's so many charities that do fantastic things, but if no one knows that we're there, they can't support us, they can't access the services that we provide, they can't volunteer for us. So it's trying to have a range of different ways that we market ourselves. So for example, some of the 70, 80-year-olds who attend the sessions might not be on Instagram or TikTok or Twitter. They might be, but let's say, for sake of argument, they probably aren't. So it's about how can we go out through traditional media outlets, how can we be in newspapers, how can we be in print media, and those kind of forms of things. But then on the other hand, there are lots of people who use social media and who are likely to see Facebook ads and Instagram posts and that sort of thing. So it's trying to spread ourselves across a range of different ways so we can target different individuals and get across the demographic, really. Okay.
And do you accept donations in cash or kind or both,
Yeah, we can accept either, really. So whatever's easiest for the individual. So, we can do backs transfers. We have on our website, so rainbowcentre.org, there's a donate button that people can go through. People can make telephone donations. It's however best works for the individual.
Okay. So, in the corporate communities, what happens, if suppose, they wanted to, they have got service like marketing, you said, if suppose there is some companies who want to just work with you, support you in that sense, do you always work with those kind of guys as well?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's something that I missed out actually when you asked me about the corporate sort of relationships before, but that's a really important way that we can work with people, other businesses in the area. So, for example, as you say, marketing, if a company's speciality is social media marketing, sometimes they will offer pro bono advice. They might offer sort of, a monthly clinic drop-in or telephone consultation where they can support us with our strategy. Because as you can imagine, as a charity, we unfortunately don't have extensive marketing budgets like some large companies do. So that's a really lovely way, again, of that company being able to give back to their community, to support us. It helps us to promote ourselves, and it's just a really, lovely cycle of being able to support others. And of course, we like to be really reciprocal in how we work with businesses. So it's not just about asking them for money and asking them for services. It's, can we promote them as well? So if a company has kindly gifted us something, whether it's their time or something more tangible, we do promote that as well. So
And how about coffee morning and cake sales?
I like the sound of that. That sounds brilliant. I mean, who doesn't love cake? That's always a great way to do. I think, people making a donation for cakes and things like that. And
do you organize that sort of thing, events as well? Coffee mornings, cakes?
Definitely. That's something we can organise. Some companies, if they're larger, they might have their own sort of corporate social responsibility employee. Not all companies will have that, so we're happy to support companies as well if they want to look towards arranging those events.
Yeah, well, that's really great, because you support quite the age-wise, it's a quite big kind of age range which you support, like as you mentioned, 8 months old baby, as well as 80-year plus man which you are supporting. So it's I think you guys are doing incredible job. Thank you very much for that, and thank you for coming over here as well. Liz, I was just thinking, in terms of volunteering, we did not touch base on the volunteering. So what sort of people can volunteer for this?
Anyone, really. So if anyone has spare time, if they have some skills that they would like to be able to give back to the community, then we really welcome all of those volunteers. So, from 16 upwards, we can take anyone on, whether, as I mentioned, someone has sort of ad hoc availability and they wanted to help out at events that we have throughout the summer, or whether that's someone that actually, perhaps they've retired or they work part-time and they'd like to commit sort of a particular time each week, then we can accommodate that as well. But I think the most important thing of a volunteer is someone that is really compassionate. They're giving up their time, they're donating that time to a charity, and I think that's fantastic.
And having that motivation as well behind. We talked about motivation and leadership, how important that's to stick to this particular commitment.
I think so, very important. I think particularly if you're not being paid for something, then actually that to me is really admirable, that you're still going there and you're giving up that time, especially in today where our lives are always so busy. Finding that time and being able to give that back is very inspirational.
Yeah, great. So motivation and leadership, making a difference to the communities, providing support. So volunteering is one thing which our listeners, if some of you wanted to make the volunteering contribution, please speak to. How will they connect to you if they wanted to connect to you?
So we have our website. It's probably sort of the best port of call for all of our sort of donations, volunteering opportunities. So www.rainbowcentre.org. That's sort of the best point of call. But we're on all socials as Rainbow Centre Charity, so Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. But please do get in touch if you're interested in any of the things we've mentioned.
Great. Well, you are listening to Business Town Talks on Unity 101 radio station. Today we talked about the motivation and leadership in and around the charities. Can you share one of the most valuable thing for our listeners, where either it is in terms of volunteer or something which you have learned and you think that it will be helpful for other people to engage with the charity or support or make a difference or add some value?
Absolutely. I think that if you're someone who is looking to get into the charity sector, or if you're looking sort of more broadly at the job market, volunteering is a really fantastic place to start. Not just because I'm biased and work for a charity, but genuinely all of the voluntary opportunities that I've taken on throughout my life, I think have really helped me to sort of work out where I'd like to work. You're helping out your community, which is just an amazing feeling, and there's nothing like that, being able to give back your time. So,
and I can say that because I can see the compassion, I can see the passion which you have got around it, and people can see it because being a law graduate and now you are supporting and dedicating yourself into the charity at the very young age. That's a great and commendable, and that's a great motivation, and that's a great leadership, and I think lots of people will be learning from you. Well, Liz, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show, Business Town Talks. And I'm your host, Santosh Kumar, with the producer Kelly over here on Unity 101. For my audience purposes, hope you have enjoyed the deep dive on all the tips and tricks which Liz has given you to help you grow in your career, explore some more careers around the charities and the third sectors. with Liz from the Rainbow Center. We will have another thrilling and exciting story next week. As always, you can head over to Business Town Talks to sign up to our emailing list, or you can go onto unity11.org and listen to this particular podcast again just after 4 o'clock. That's all for this episode. Thank you very much. Thank you, Liz. Thanks for coming over here. See you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Community Hour is aired live daily from Monday to Friday.